What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Southern Grist Brewing Company, and they are out of Nashville, Tennessee, and this is their Black Currant Raspberry Melted Snow Cone. So they're calling this one a Smoothie-style Sour Ale brewed with black currant and raspberry puree. It comes in at 4% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed, time of review. This can is just under 2 months old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks and shout out to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Ryan, for hooking me up with this one. Ryan has actually hooked me up with beers before that I've reviewed on the channel, a couple other half beers. What else did he give me? I think it was a Milk Shark from Bellwoods and another beer, I can't remember. But yeah, he's hooked me up before with beers to review on the channel. Now, recently he contacted me a couple weeks ago and he was like, hey man, I have a beer from Southern Grist. It's kind of in the Mortalis Hydra realm, heavily fruited sour ale. But he said it's a little bit more sour than Hydra's, at least he feels like it is. And he's like, I really liked it. I would love for you to review it. So I have a can for you. And I was like, yeah, all day long. So black currant and raspberry. I love raspberries, but black currants, I don't think I've actually just had like black currants. I've had it in beers before. I've had them in like desserts and whatnot, but I've never actually just ate them plain. Like I've just never had black currants before. So I always get like a spiciness to it. Anyway, another good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber, Tyler, over at South 10 Beer Reviews, reviewed this one and he really liked it as well. So yeah, anyway, it says on the side here, it says, keep cold, drink fresh, don't get brain freeze. And also says gently roll before opening. So we'll do a gentle roll. Gentle roll. Gentle roll. We're going to use the Medusa Mortalis glass because that's the only Mortalis glass that I have. It's not the same series as Hydra like he mentioned, but whatever. It should work fine. Hopefully this does not explode everywhere. So not a big hiss, but it did go everywhere because I rolled it. Anyway, let's give it a pour here. Now these can generate huge heads, and we'll see if that happens here. It was an aggressive pour to some extent. We'll pour the rest in at the end, and then I'll clean everything up after I review it. But anyway, that looks beautiful. It's all over my hands. Doesn't matter. It happens. So yeah, that has this like really deep purple color to it. Yeah, that's straight up purple. On camera, it's probably gonna look a little darker, but there's like lighter, like pink hues here, but really straight on purple. Has about a 3-finger frothy looking head. The whole, packed in from the fruit puree and everything, just hanging out. Yeah, that looks like a fruited sour of some sort. Let's get a nose. Just jamminess, huge raspberry jamminess. There's a little bit of spiciness that I get, again, from the black currants. Almost like a grape-esque kind of quality to it, like a Concord grape. I'm going to pour the rest in because the head is fizzing, and I want to make sure I get it all in there because, with these heavily fruited sour beers, a lot of times the heavier stuff is at the bottom. So we'll do that. And yeah, it's empty now. So anyway, I don't know if they're using lactose or any kind of outside of fruit puree or anything to kind of bump the sweetness, but it smells pretty sweet. There is a nice, like, firm tartness on the nose. You feel this is going to be a tart beer to some extent. But really, I'm getting like raspberry, like almost sherbet. Raspberry sherbet, a little bit of black currant in the form of like a spicy kind of almost grapey kind of sensation. But yeah, it smells really good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Ryan. Maybe it's because I haven't drank one of these in about maybe like a month or 6 weeks. I posted some from Mortalis, from Froth. I had one from Drecker. But I haven't really reviewed any of them recently. Wow, this is like straight on full body. This is thick, this is syrupy. This is definitely in the smoothie realm. It has a nice, so when Ryan said there's a sourness here, there definitely is. To me, it isn't like mouth puckering, but it's hitting the back of the jawline where like it's gripping and it's almost puckering, but not quite. This is like low side of sourness, which, to be fair, like you said, comparing them to like a Mortalis or maybe like a Froth liquid lollipop or something like that, this definitely has a more of a sour acidic bite than those beers do. That's a full-on viscous body from this one, smoothie style. There's a decent amount of carbonation, but it is very soft, smooth, and creamy on the palate right now. Carbonation hits the front of the palate. As it finishes, though, it's almost smoothie-esque in its mouthfeel. The taste is not really complex, but it doesn't need to be because there's only 2 fruit purees in here. I'm getting a huge, I guess the raspberry, the complexity of the raspberries in this is very, very complex. I'm getting a lot of tart, seedy raspberries, but then there's also a nice sweetness from them. The black currant is adding this slight like grapey almost quality to it, almost wine-esque. A little bit of like almost like you get like a tannin maybe from like the skin of a grape, something like that. But while this is sweet up front, this has a really nice balance between the sweetness and the base sour, the sourness from it. Yeah, so jammy, seedy, tart raspberries up front, spiciness from the black currant, along with a little bit of like tannin-esque skin qualities. As it finishes, that's where a semi-dry finish hits. There's no bitterness here, but it's semi-dry, and it has that, again, that tannin-esque quality to like a grape skin. And that is providing more of dryness as well. And then it finishes with this big pop of acidity along with a low sourness. So yeah, this is extremely well balanced. Like as you can see, I'm crushing this one. Like I feel like this is gonna give me heartburn because it does have a bigger sourness to it and the acidity is pretty high, but I don't really care because this is really drinkable and super, super tasty. You get everything that they talk about on the can. There's not much more to say about it. So I'm going to give black currant raspberry melted snow cone from Southern Grist. I'm going to give that a low 4.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.4 out of 5. Really good stuff. I will say for me personally, while I've said this before, I want a lot of these heavily fruited smoothie sour beers to have more of a tartness or even a sourness. This might be for me, by the time I drink the rest of this can, too acidic. Not really too sour, but too acidic from the sourness because I'm already starting to get a little bit of like heartburn. I feel like my acid reflux is going to kick my ass when I finish this glass, but I don't really care because it's tasty. But at the same time, I would like to see a little bit more or a little less of a acidic bite on the back of the palate. Also, I think I would want a little bit more sweetness at the front. While this is balanced, I do like these a little bit sweeter, but I will say this, it's very well balanced. If you're one of those beer purists who hate these styles and you, hate them because they're just, it's basically fruit puree in a glass with some alcohol and not much of the base beer. You can taste, not necessarily the base beer here, but you can taste the base sour ale component, that being the sourness and the tartness. So this has more of that balance to it than a lot of the beers out here in this style. So price and availability, I believe I looked it up on Instagram. These are $21 a 4-pack at the brewery. I don't know what somebody like Tyler paid. I don't think Tyler got it straight from the brewery. I don't know if it gets in the bottle shops. You're talking about, $6-7 a can. I'm sure if this showed up in my neck of the woods, it'd probably be like $7-8 a can because like the Drucker stuff was in the $7 range. I will say this, Southern Grist had a small drop here recently, and I did pick up 2 other beers from them. They're Imperial Pina, Imperial Pina Hill or Pina Colada Hill, which is basically Pina Colada Sour imperialized. And then their Mosa, which is a mimosa inspired sour ale. I didn't pick up all sours from Southern Grist. It just happened that way. Kind of most of their sour beers showed up here. So I picked up 2 of those before this one, but I want to review this one first because Ryan gave it to me and those other ones will hold fine. So availability, like I said, I really don't know where Southern Grist gets distro. We got 1 distro drop here. I thought they were, pretty much in the Nashville area, but they're making their way out of Nashville and out of Tennessee. So if you've had this one before or anything in the Melted Sno Cone series, let me know. I think they have a couple other variants of this one. I'm not positive, I'm pretty sure. And huge thanks to Ryan for this one. We have 4%. He can't taste it. A lot of people will joke because there's no alcohol in here. And you know what? At 4%, I'm not going to taste the alcohol, even if there is 4% alcohol in here, just because it's 4%. And nowadays, breweries do a great job at hiding the alcohol. So huge thanks to Ryan for letting me check this one out. I appreciate it. Good sir. He also hooked me up with another beer, a Monkish IPA. It's a triple IPA. I'm going to be reviewing that in the next couple days, and you'll see that probably in the next couple weeks. So not much more to say. Huge thanks to Ryan. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.